Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Asira. In today's video, I'm finally going to show you guys how I made my bolero top. I showed this top last year and a couple of people asked some questions about it, and I was going to make a tutorial and I never got around to it, but you know, I might as well go ahead and do it now. Before I get started, I wanted to say thank you to all of you guys who subscribed to me. I finally hit 1K. I believe at this time there are about 1,300 of you guys who have subscribed, and I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad to see our little community is growing. But let's hop right into it. We're going to need an 8mm crochet hook, some worsted weight yarn, some stitch markers, and something to take notes in or on. We're going to start with making a chain long enough to wrap all the way around your shoulders, and we're going to make sure that it's an even amount and that you place a stitch marker at the halfway point. Personally, I chained 80 and I put a stitch marker at the 40th stitch and at the end. And a little trick so that your yarn doesn't get twisted up, after you chain a couple, put the beginning stitch back on your hook and then continue to chain. And then that way, whenever you're ready to connect it, all you have to do is slip stitch to the stitch that's already on your hook. Once we have the amount that we want and you slip stitch, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. This whole thing is going to be done with double crochets. So I just take my stitch marker and I move it up so that I can remember which stitch is the halfway point. And you're going to do that for both sides. To complete the first row, we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch we made where the stitch marker is. And then we're going to chain 2 again. Into every place with a stitch marker, we're going to put 2 double crochets as our increase. The place with the increases will ultimately be where your shoulders are. When you do the 2 stitches into the place where the stitch marker was, you're going to put the stitch marker into the second stitch that you make. We're going to make 4 rows with increases, so it should be 5 rows in total. This is what your increases should look like. They should be stacked right on top of each other. Once we're done with our 5 rows, we're going to go ahead and fasten off. This is about what it should look like. The stitch markers are, like where your shoulders are going to be. At this point, you could go ahead and try to figure out like where you want your arm part to start. I personally, I do 11 stitches away from the stitch marker on both sides, so 23 in total stitches for one arm. So I just hold the stitch marker and then I count 11 stitches over, and then I put the stitch marker in, and then I do the same thing for the other side. I want to add, make sure that you use your notepad or whatever to keep track of whatever you're doing with one arm, because you're going to want to make sure you're doing the exact same thing to the other arm. To start the arm, we're going to make a slip stitch into both of the stitches that are connected to the stitch marker. Make sure to put your first and last stitches into the stitches that were slip stitched. Goodness, that was a mouthful. But make sure you start with the stitch that's slip stitched, so that way it's not leaving like a gap or anything, because that wouldn't look too, that wouldn't look too good. This top is freehand, so I don't have exact like stitch counts and stuff for everything. So basically with the sleeves, what I do is I'll decrease every couple of rows, and I'll just keep trying it on to make sure it fits my arm the way that I want it to fit. But again, they're not exact measurements, and if you want it to fit to you, you'll just have to keep trying it on, because it's pretty trial and error. Whenever you want to do your decrease, just do it at the beginning or the end of whatever row you're on. So I'm going to go ahead and decrease on my second row here to make it just a little bit more fitted to my arm. So you'll wrap around, go in, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then go through the 3 like that, and then like that. I'm really bad at explaining. Pull through 3 and then pull through 2, and then that's your decrease. I will say it takes about average 25 rows to make a full sleeve arm, just depending on how long you want it. Some people like to have it like here, some people like it to stop here or go like, a little bit here. And it also depends on what material you're using, because acrylic will stretch more, especially if you wet block it. Yeah, it'll make it, more elongated. So you'll just keep going until you have your 25 or so rows for your arm, and then you'll do the same process on the side, and I'll come back to you guys whenever I'm done with mine.
sustainably, yet affordably, like the 100 followers, but all of my content is centered on products similar to yours, and look how much people love it, right? Whereas what you're thinking is, hey, I like your vibe.
Hey you guys, it's future me. I realized I forgot to film an outro, but I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed and that it was helpful, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.